Hello everyone, this is Sorbekova here, your guide to understanding matters of sustainability the legal way. Today's video will be about one of the first fast fashion industry fire accidents of all time, the Tazreen Factory Fire, involving brands like Walmart, C&A, Kik, Sears, and others. The accident that occurred at the Tazreen factory is one of the three biggest factory accidents in the field of fashion industry. Last week, I talked about the Ali factory fire accident, and today's video will be dedicated to the Tazreen factory fire. I have watched many videos on fast fashion here on YouTube and did not hear anyone talking about this accident. So I thought I would dedicate this week's video to the deadly factory fire, Tazreen Factory Fire. On the 24th of November 2012, a fire broke out in the Tazreen fashion garment factory in Dhaka, Bangladesh. When the Tazreen factory burned down, at least 112 workers died and over 100 workers were injured. It took an over 3-year struggle to secure compensation for the affected families. At 6:40 p.m., the alarm went off. The manager said, "Nothing has happened. Continue your work." After a few minutes, we saw smoke. I jumped through a window that some workers had broken. These are the words of Nazreen, one of the machine operators at the factory. So what happened once the fire occurred? Exits to the outside were locked, which left workers trapped inside the building. The only way out was through windows on the upper floors. So those who could, they managed to jump out the window of the 3rd and 4th floors, sustaining serious back and head injuries, which have left many of them in constant pain. Those who could not escape, they lost their lives. As you can see, occupational safety and health measures were very much compromised. The brands that were involved that had been doing with this factory were, for example, Corte Ingles, Kik, C&A, Walmart, Disney, Sears, and others. From 2012 to 2015, so that's during 3 years, the families of those killed and injured had been fighting for compensation for the loss of their loved ones or loss of their own ability to earn an income. During all this time, from the very beginning, an organization called Clean Clothes Campaign, for example, worked together with survivors and families who lost loved ones at the factory fire in the fight for justice. The organization was able to find out who was sourcing from this factory, who had been doing business with this factory. After the necessary information had been reached, Clean Clothes Campaign could reach these companies standing on their doorsteps in Europe and North America, where they were headquartered. However, something bad, really bad happened. 6 months later, in April 2013, the world saw another devastating accident. This was the Rana Plaza accident. Another accident that was devastating in terms of loss of human lives and the number of the injured persons. We have just previously said that the Tazreen factory, with the Tazreen factory fire accident leading to 112 deaths and more than 100 injured, the Rana Plaza accident was 10 times bigger. In terms of losses, human losses, and the number of injured, it was around 1,132 persons dead and more than 1,000 persons injured. So you can see the impact 10 times more. So that you can understand what happened to the question of compensation and question of the impact of the Tazreen factory fire on human lives, was that 6 months later, another accident happens, which was 10 times bigger. And the world attention shifted to this accident, to the Rana Plaza accident. And the Tazreen factory fire victims and their loved ones, they were kind of left behind at that time. Using the increased sense of urgency and guilt after this collapse, They first helped negotiate the Rana Plaza Compensation Fund on the basis of that, and then established the trust fund shortly after, that is, 3 years after the accident, only in 2015. An agreement to make payments specifically to cover loss of income and medical treatment was signed by Industry All Global Union, the Clean Clothes Campaign, C&A, and the C&A Foundation just prior to the second anniversary of the fire in 2014. This agreement led to the creation of the Tazreen Claims Administration Trust in September 2015, which oversaw the claims process, cooperated with organizations representing families, and collected funds to make payments. According to the information from the Clean Clothes Campaign, the trust raised money to cover the payments primarily through contributions from brands and retailers whose products were produced at the Tazreen Factory. C&A, Walmart, Kick, and Corte Ingles have paid their contribution into the fund. However, other brands refused at that time to take responsibility towards the survivors and the families of the killed workers. For example, before agreeing to contribute, this was the case of Walmart, which refused to pay its part. In 2015, 3 years after the Tazreen accident, Tazreen's largest customer, Walmart, still had not provided any funds to compensate the survivors and the families of the deceased workers. Other brands continue to refuse to take responsibility for the incident to this day, according to the information as of the 24th of November 2016 of the Clean Clothes Campaign website. I did not find any updated information, so supposedly what they are saying is the last available data. So, in June 2016, the Claims Administration Trust completed its work of providing loss of income of payments to all injured workers and to the dependents of those who lost their lives. This meant an important recognition of the rights of the survivors and families affected by the Tazreen fire after being overshadowed by the scale of the Rana Plaza disaster. However, while the claims process has concluded, the struggle of the Tazreen families is not over. They are demanding that those responsible for the death and injury of their loved ones are held accountable. And they continue to wait for the prosecution of Mr. Delvar Hossain, the owner of the Tazreen factory. Having said this, I would like to conclude this video with the words from the Dhaka Tribune Journal published on November 2019, entitled Tazreen Tragedy Victims Being Remembered. The 7th anniversary of the devastating Tazreen Fashions Fire tragedy was observed in November 2019. Meanwhile, no step has yet been taken to rehabilitate the survivors, although 7 years elapsed since this tragic incident. Besides, many of the injured, as well as families of the dead workers, are yet to receive proper compensation as pledged by the government and Bangladesh Garment Manufacturers and Exporters Association, BGMEA. Most of the survivors who lost their workability in the incident have been leading an inhuman life. Their only demand is to implement necessary steps for their rehabilitation. That's it for now. For a detailed understanding on what is fast fashion and how fast fashion works, check out my video entitled Fast Fashion, the Unspoken Truth and Human Rights. The link is up here. To watch similar videos like this, click the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, press like, and join me every Sunday 10 a.m. CET. And also, leave a comment down below. Until then, take care and see you next time.